What if I told you a truck driver cracked the code to building a crypto empire? Meet Bitcoin Ben. He went from driving 18-wheelers to creating 6 different ways for regular people to stack Bitcoin and build wealth. This isn't just another crypto course. This is a complete ecosystem where you earn while you learn. First up, the confidential bulk purchase program. Get Bitcoin at wholesale prices through group buying power. Then there's Home to HODL. Convert your home equity directly into Bitcoin instead of cash. Need funding? The Loans for Bitcoin program gets you the capital to buy more crypto. Want passive income? Private Key Capital puts your Bitcoin to work. Hungry for something different? Bitcoin Ben's tokenized beef lets you invest in real cattle backed by blockchain technology. And if you want to mine? Bitcoin Ben's mining program gets you started with the right equipment and knowledge. But here's the kicker. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club pays you to learn. Earn 10% on direct referrals, 5% on second level, 2% on third level. This might be the only membership where you make more than you pay. Ben went from 10 years behind the wheel to becoming the world's most unlikely crypto expert. Now he's sharing everything through live training, community events, and proven systems that work. Ready to stop watching from the sidelines? Join Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club today and start stacking sats while building your financial future. Your truck driving days are over. Your crypto empire starts now.
Good morning, and welcome to Bitcoin Thursdays with Dr. J. I'm Dr. J, and I am in a very special place again. And some of you who have been watching my show will recognize where I am. So here we go. A thriving, magnificent city. The new empire. Yes, greetings from San Salvador. You know, this is not just a beautiful historical place. And by the way, I decided to sit outside on the balcony today, and there's traffic noise, but we'll live with it. Now, if I need to go in, I will, but I want you guys to experience with me what El Salvador is all about. You know, because what's happened here yesterday is not just something that is a business milestone for Private Key Capital. It is a very huge step in our progress towards building a new ecosystem for Private Key Capital. So yesterday morning, I actually went over to our resort, which we have closed, and I held the keys in my hand for the first time. There was a whole bunch of keys, and there were a whole bunch of people. And I think, you know, accepting these keys to the beach resort yesterday, and I don't say this lightly, I believe it truly marks the beginning of something fairly significant for Private Key Capital. Because this is not just a resort. It's not just a resort. It's truly the foundation for an emerging empire that we can build around it. Now, if you have some noise in the background, please pardon it, but I like it. You know, progress doesn't have to be perfect. So we're going to have some street noise, and if an ambulance goes by, I'll keep quiet for a while and come right back. But this is how future is being built. I'm having incredible conversations with incredible people who are all focused on how El Salvador is giving us the opportunity to actually create, to actually be free. So let me start with this moment that happened yesterday. I want to share it with you. I was standing right on the balcony of our hotel, of our resort, looking at the surf coming in behind me. The staff had gathered in front of me, all 18 of them, all now a part of the Private Key family. You know, it was just looking at them. These are all the employees who were already there at the resort, and I had agreed to keep them as ongoing employees. We were not going to fire them and hire all new people. We're going to add new people, but I wanted to keep them. But I could feel the hope, and I could also feel the responsibility. And of course, you felt the possibilities that were right there in front of you. There's something truly remarkable about taking stewardship. And you're all a part of it. Those of you who have invested, it's stewardship, right? This is not just a resort. What I felt was this is a place where people live, they work, they raise their families, they build their futures. This resort is not just a building. It's a complete ecosystem for many of the families, for the local suppliers of food, for the local businesses, and of course for global travelers. So as I held these keys, I felt like not only was I opening a door, the private key door, but it was really opening a new era. So this is, folks, this is not just tourism, it's sovereignty in motion. Now, the reason I'm not sitting at the resort right now is because my hotel is about an hour and a half away in downtown from the resort. And if I had to go there in the morning and the internet was unstable, so I decided to do the show. But I want to show you some pictures. Sherpa, would you mind putting a couple of pictures up for me so I can share this moment with all of our members, all of our friends, and all of our well-wishers? So here I am, and what's in my hand is 18 keys to the 18 different rooms over there, and it was a really special moment. It's somehow, you know, I've been working on putting this deal together with Ben for a long time now. You know, it's not easy. It's hard, right? There's 1,000 different things that can go wrong, and they do, and you try to fix them, and you try to put pieces together and make the deal happen. But when I held these keys, it all became very real. Can I see the next picture, please? Now, these were some of the employees over there that we already have. So they came and everybody gathered because I had my attorneys and lawyers, because we had to sign paperwork to say that, hey, you no longer have liabilities. I don't have liability on our investors' behalf for whatever has happened in the past. You have to sign the release forms, and then you have to sign the new form saying that you're joining our team. And of course, I have to give them Christmas bonuses so everybody has a smile on their faces. Next slide, please. So this is right at the resort. You can see these are all the people who are going to be working with us and for us, and incredible people. I'm certainly looking forward to not only knowing each person by name, but knowing about them and their families and their story and their heritage and their culture. So this is really, really a very special moment. And as you can see, it's a wonderful team of people. They're good human beings. They're dedicated. They want to do something right and good for their country and for their families. So we don't take this responsibility lightly. Next slide, please. And here you see one of the rare photographs. I did not ask for permission, but there's Ben. This is a couple of months ago. We were there, and it was a hot day. And he said, "You know what? Heck with it. I'm getting in the pool." And so here he was. That's a motorcycle going by. He jumped into the pool, into the cool waters of the resort. And I think Janet and Todd were sitting there with their feet in the water. And it's just a beautiful picture. It captures the essence of, what this is going to be about. The last one, please, Sherpa. The last two. So this is the front of the building. This is where the beach is. And we have sexiness overload. Ben in full glory. This is this beautiful beach. And, we've got about 100 yards of beachfront. So as you can imagine, these type of properties are not going to be there for a long time. El Salvador is getting bought up just like Singapore did, just like Dubai did, just like Panama did, just like Costa Rica is getting bought up. These beachfront properties, I mean, if this was in California, this is a $30 million property, right, with 100 yards of beachfront. So here we are. We have this opportunity to build. And the last slide, please. And this is a beautiful room we have at the resort overlooking the beach right in front. And we're thinking we're going to make this an events room, right? This is where we're going to put the stage. This is where we're going to invite amazing people from around the world, Bitcoiners, to come here, have this oceanfront, and it's a large room, so we can put 60 to 80 people down inside there and have events. So this is not just a resort. I'm going to talk a lot more about it. Thank you, Sherpa. That was great. So I hope you guys, sort of get a sense a little bit of what we are doing and what we have purchased and why this is going to be important. So I'm going to delve deep into why this is going to be important. First, I want to share something with you about El Salvador and why El Salvador is, starting to become sort of the new epicenter for the new monetary world. Number one, it has become one of the safest countries in the Western Hemisphere. It's truly one of the safest countries. Crime is at an all-time low, not just in El Salvadorian standard, but in world standards. It's safer than Europe. It's safer than Sweden. It's a whole lot safer than Sweden, right? Tourism is up almost 40% year over year. I looked at the data. International investments into El Salvador is at an all-time high. And the global media can no longer ignore this transformation. You see, this is very important what's happening here. This is a nation that is choosing courage over conformity, right? If you look at Europe, why is Europe dying? Why is Europe's crime rate the highest? Because they're conforming to this bizarre idea that I don't want to be called racist, and therefore I'm willing to lose my land, and I'm willing my women to be raped and my children to be murdered. This is what Europe is becoming. So most nations, when they face economic decline, they tend to react with bureaucracy. This is what Europe is doing. They're reacting with bureaucracy. They've got the EU, this unelected bureaucratic government, to manage the government of different countries. I mean, how much do you need to like a government to have a government for the governments, to manage the government? So this is a complete broken story, what's happening in Europe. Crime is up, economic sovereignty is down. It's a disaster. But El Salvador, which had economic decline, which had drugs, which had cartels running the place, reacted differently. They reacted with innovation. They reacted by embracing Bitcoin, not as a gimmick, but as a national operating system. So now we're seeing a new model. We're seeing that for the first time in the modern history, we're seeing a country which is building upwards from the foundation that we know so well, from the foundation of digital scarcity, from the foundation of energy economics, from the foundation of entrepreneur-driven growth. That's why Ben chose El Salvador. That's why I'm coming here and investing so much time and effort here. Not because it's easy, but because it's true. And it's true to Bitcoin, it's true to sovereignty, and it's true to building a future. So it is truly a country which is showing a new model, a different way to do things, and to be part of that growth, to be part of that evolution is certainly an honor. It is exciting. And we are building what I will call a super Bitcoin club. You guys are very familiar with the voting, with the clubs that we have currently in the different cities. But think of what we are building with the resort as a super Bitcoin club, right? This is our vision for it. It's not just a resort where you're going to go and lie on the beach and sunbathe. Yes, you will. You'll get massages and you'll lie on the beach and you'll have a wonderful time. But we want this resort to become that shining light which is a fully immersive Bitcoin experience, a Bitcoin culture, a place where we are going to have events every single day, education, hospitality, financial empowerment, all under one roof. You're going to have the celebrity experience. What do I mean by that? We're going to book 1 week packages in the beginning. When we open it, we are still renovating, and I'll give you an update on that. We're going to have celebrities. We're going to have the Larry Lepard. We're going to have Bitcoin celebrities from all around the world come, and it'll be a themed week every single week. You know, think of it like my wife I was trying to explain to her what we're trying to do, and she said, oh, it's kind of like the Tony Robbins immersion experience, except this with Bitcoin. I said, exactly. That's what we're trying to do. We have this beautiful location. People will come there. It's intimate. It's not too large. 15 rooms. We're going to have celebrities. We're going to have people that you love to hear. Every evening, we're going to have music. We're going to have one-on-one conversations over dinner about Bitcoin. This is an intimate experience. This is an immersive experience. We're going to go and see the country. We're going to be able to participate in it. And of course, we will have our Private Key Capital Bank credit union with a branch right at the resort, so that as people come to the resort, they not only learn about Bitcoin, they not only experience the camaraderie and brotherhood and sisterhood of the people that are there who are engaged in Bitcoin. They hear Ben speaking, they hear celebrities speaking, they can interact with them, and they can open their own bank account with Bitcoin and go back from this experience wanting more. So that's sort of what we are thinking about the resort. And so the first thing we're going to be doing is a complete rebrand. So in the rebrand, it's going to be known as Private Key Resort. So Private Key is going to become our brand for all the different things. Private Key Clubs, Private Key Resort, Private Key Airline in the future, right? Private Key Credit Union, Private Key Capital, which is our capital arm. So this is the sort of direction that we are going. We're going to be introducing a fresh identity for the resort. And we're also going to change some of the colors out. So we're going to Private Key Hooters, somebody says. Well, I don't know about that one yet. So we're gonna have the colors of the blues, the orange, theme colors for Bitcoin, but also something beautiful, something that we can build for the next decade on, right? So which will reflect our values, which will reflect our culture and what we are doing as the Bitcoin Ben family. So that process has started. We just hired a brand new manager, and she is incredible. Her name is Stephanie. She used to be an architect, but she is very good at numbers. She's very good at with a keen eye for details. So hopefully she will work out wonderfully well, help us through the next 30, 60 days of transformation, of repainting, refreshing. We're also going to be upgrading the menus. So we are, I met this chef we have. He's an amazing guy. He's awesome. And he just has that feel for flavors. I mean, he's able to transform food into beautiful food, very tasty food. But we're also going to, put him through a cooking school for getting more of the Western, some of the pastas, hamburgers, and steaks, and kind of things that we like in America. So we're going to upgrade the menu. We are redesigning that. So it'll be a complete culinary experience. The resort has a beautiful restaurant right next. It's owned by the resort, but you don't have to be necessarily a resident staying at the resort to eat at that restaurant. People from the outside come, they sit by the pool, they enjoy a beautiful, 5-star gourmet meal, which is infused with Salvadorian fusion. We source everything locally. All of our, so I'm starting to meet some of the owners of the local seafood places, the beef. We're going to source it all locally. We have an incredible coffee program, which features the high altitude coffee. So really, really great. And I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with this chef. You know, I said to him, I said, you're not just going to be cooking food for our guests from around the world. You're going to be, you know, expressing the soul of this whole nation, right? And so we want to do that. As far as the restaurant, you know, I mentioned a little bit, we have to upgrade some parts of it, some of the chairs, tables, that sort of thing. So we're really working on that. We're going to work on getting some local musicians. We have the licenses for the beer and wine already. We're applying for the licenses for hard liquor, and that should not be a problem. But again, these are, you know, I'm giving you a lot more detail because many of you are investors in our resort, and it's probably nice for you to be able to experience through my eyes, you know, all the changes and the modifications that we are doing to this incredible asset that we have today. And of course, we're going to have Bitcoin integration right from the checkout. You can actually pay in Bitcoin for your stay, for your services. And we're going to have some educational lounges. You'll be able to enjoy, you know, the onboarding of the credit union, a very immersive experience. So there'll also be a bar that we are creating, a new bar, which will be kind of the Satoshi Speakeasy. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that Janet came up with this idea that all the rooms would be Bitcoin themed. So instead of just naming them room 1, 2, and 3, there will be, you know, things like 21 Million Club and, you know, mining lounge and so on and so forth. So we really are looking forward to this resort becoming a very significant sort of a beachhead, no pun intended, a beachhead to many of the other investments and assets that we're going to continue to build around and in El Salvador. So this is not just a gateway. This is quite the initiation that will bring enormous amounts of credibility to our private key capital, not to mention the cash flow. I think it's a great business if it's done right, you know, with the right kind of value-added services. We're going to have a Mercedes Sprinter van, which is going to take people to getaways. We'll do a trip to the volcano. You know, it's going to become a great place. It's going to become a place where you come for a week and you experience freedom, and you experience Bitcoin, and you experience possibilities. That's what we want to build. I'm going to take a quick word from our sponsor, Sherpa, and then I'll be right back to share a little more about what we're doing at the bank here.
Your Bitcoin sitting idle. Time to make it work. Private Key Capital, the world's first fully Bitcoin-backed financial institution, lets you earn 4% APY on your Bitcoin. Enjoy Bitcoin savings accounts, secure custody, Bitcoin-backed loans, fiat on-off ramps, and exclusive member benefits. This is crypto banking reimagined. Early members get the best rates. Join Private Key Capital today and start earning 4%.
All right, we are back. So, you know, normally I talk a lot about Bitcoin architecture, about software, about all kinds of things, but today is our theme for the resort, right? So, not surprisingly, I think of the resort as the Genesis block. I think of it as the first building block of what we're doing. People ask me sometimes, why start with this resort? Because everything that I have ever built, and Ben has built, it starts with a community. It starts with a gathering point, a beacon, a magnet where people, like-minded people, can gather. That's why many years ago, Ben started the Sarasota Club. It was just a room, but it came alive because people like you came and sat on the couches and talked about Bitcoin and talked about freedom and talked about sovereignty and talked about the Constitution and talked about the businesses we could build and the money we could make. It starts with a community. It starts with a conversation. This resort can become that gathering point. This resort can become the magnet. There is nothing like it in the world, guys. There's nothing like it in El Salvador. There's nothing like it in America. So my view is that it's an architecture. And what is the architecture? Here's the sequence of events that I see unfolding. See, the resort is going to bring travelers. It's going to bring people who either know something about Bitcoin or don't know anything about Bitcoin but want to learn. It's going to bring travelers. And what do travelers bring? What do you bring when you come to a different country? You bring curiosity. Curiosity to learn. So curiosity brings education. Education brings adoption. Adoption brings deposits. Deposits power the credit union. And that digital capital opens up the world to digital credit, a multi-$100 trillion market. So you see, I don't see this just as another resort like a Sandals where you can just go and hang out and, well, I had a good time. Yes, you're going to have a great time. But what you're really doing by coming to this resort is you're going to start that process of bringing your curiosity, getting educated. When what happens when we educate people, when members join Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, what do? The first thing they do is they buy Bitcoin so they can be part of it. That's adoption. We're still at the 3% adoption rate. We're going to go to 30% and then 90%, just like the internet. And when that happens, Bitcoin has to be deposited somewhere. That's in our credit union. So we're really building this whole cycle that can repeat itself every single week with every single new traveler, every single new member who's coming to visit. You're enhancing and amplifying this model. So this is how nations rebirth themselves. Not through decree, not through EU putting a mandate. It happens through building an architecture that can feed the next cycle and the next cycle and so on and so forth. Now, why am I talking about this as digital credit is the holy grail? It is. Because look, mining is fantastic. We have taken a great big step as members of the private key capital to invest into mining. Mining, we're making our own Bitcoin. We are creating nodes. We are creating sovereignty. Privately owned. This is not run by the governments. This is sovereign money. So that is a strong pillar for what we're already doing. But over time, mining will start to wane, right? We'll always have mining, but it's not going to have the same type of output as it had 2 years ago or in the next 2 years, right? Over the next 2 to 3 years, 4 years, mining is still going to be very lucrative. But what's going to happen next? Mining will produce all this Bitcoin. And digital credit is the next holy grail. That's where I want to take our company. We want to be in digital credit. Why? Because one Bitcoin is always one Bitcoin. The value of that Bitcoin may fluctuate in dollars, volatility. But the underlying asset, the underlying unit remains constant. So when we start to think about digital credit, at least the way I think about digital credit, I'm less sensitive to the value of Bitcoin on any given day pegged against the dollar. The only thing that impacts, that volatility impacts, is the line of credit value. So if Bitcoin's at $100,000, there's a certain amount of credit I can give, say 25% or 50% or 90, 80%, right? If the Bitcoin value drops to 70,000 or 75,000, well, has my business model changed? The answer is no, because all that has changed is the amount of credit value, not the underlying business of lending. Lending has not changed in 5,000 years. In lending, you have collateral. Bitcoin is the most pristine collateral. Lending has yield. Lending has cash flow. Lending has a repayment schedule. And lending has expansion. There are trillions of dollars being lent out every day, from personal lending to company lending, corporate lending, acquisition lending, growth lending, you name it, in venture capital lending, right? If you look at all of the investment world, if you look at all of the terms, supply chains, businesses, every single thing is based on the movement of money. Now, when we can create the architecture for moving money using Bitcoin as not only the collateral, but also as the rails that cannot be shut down, rails that are not like Swift, that don't ask you 10,000 questions as to why you made this money and how you made this money and why you're sending $600 over PayPal, it changes everything. It starts to become disruptive, a oft used word, but nonetheless so true in what we are talking about. I think modernizing the collateral side and the rails, Bitcoin not only becomes the perfect reserve asset. Why is it a perfect reserve asset? Because it's liquid, because it's borderless, because it's transparent, because it's incorruptible, and because it's globally priced. No one country sets the price for it. No one can devalue it. No country can set a monetary policy on it. And this is why, I'm taking the view that, I've been having a lot of conversations with all sorts of investors lately because we're going to raise a lot of capital for private key capital to buy energy resources. And that'll be a separate Bitcoin Thursday with Dr. J. Today, I want to stay focused on this topic. See, speculators, I was talking to a trader yesterday. I had an hour-long conversation. Speculators argue about Bitcoin price. Is Bitcoin going to go from 93 to 105, or is it going to drop down to 75, and then, it's going to take the next Elliott wave up and it'll burst through the 150? They're all the speculation, right, on what the price of Bitcoin is going to be, what the immediate margin calls are going to be if it goes down, what the upside is going to be if it goes up. So that's all great. It's important, but that's speculation. Here's what I know. I know Bitcoin is real. It's not going away. And as a builder, not as a speculator, I see the Bitcoin being the foundation for a scalable global credit infrastructure. So I'm taking, as I've always taken, the long game view, as Ben has always taken the long game view. Yes, Bitcoin is good. Yes, Bitcoin will appreciate at 30% CAGR, as Saylor says, and this is going to be great. But I really believe that Bitcoin's value is a whole lot more than digital capital. Bitcoin's value adoption is going to be in digital credit. Now, all of the energy, right? Think of what you do with energy. For the last decade, ever since this clean energy, climate change stuff has been there, ESG, everybody's been talking about clean energy, how we're going to move away from oil and gas We're going to move to clean energy. We're going to have battery storage, right? So the big thesis, billions of dollars have been invested into taking energy and moving it into a battery, right? Which is, to me, it's nice. It's a nice step forward. You take watts and you put it into watts that you can store. But you know what's a lot better? We can take the watts and you can convert it not into another battery, but into a Bitcoin. Because now I have taken that energy and I've converted that energy into an asset that I can have a monetary system built on. I can move it. It can grow in value. I can lend against it. You can't lend against a battery. You can't grow the value of a battery. It depreciates. You can move a battery around the globe at lightning speed from anywhere to anywhere. You can do that with Bitcoin. So anyone who believes that making enormous lithium batteries and storage facilities and AI computation is a good idea, well, then you should think that converting energy to Bitcoin is a million times better idea, a million times bigger idea, and a million times more worthy of investments than the battery business. So I believe our credit union is going to have a far more stable structure, architecture, than simply hodling Bitcoin. Why is that? Because in a credit union, which is lending out against the Bitcoin, we are lending out money to diversified streams of business. So yes, we are Bitcoin maxis, but by creating digital capital and digital credit, we are lending to businesses of all ilk. We're lending to companies that are doing tourism. We're companies that are doing hospitality. We're lending to companies in retail. We're lending to companies building mining. We're lending to companies building agriculture. And we'll be lending to companies that will be generating energy, which then again generates more Bitcoin. So what you're seeing is that, yes, Bitcoin has been incredible so far to create enormous amounts of wealth. Sorry, there's an ambulance going by. And give me a second, please. Enjoy the view of the city. By the way, that's a mall out there. And this mall is incredible. I went there, walked around. Everything is decorated in Christmas. In this country, people say Merry Christmas. Everybody says Merry Christmas. Nobody says Happy Holidays. It's so based. I love it. Okay? It's a Christian country. It's got values. It is adopting Bitcoin. It is giving us opportunities as entrepreneurs to do great things. So here we are. So anyway, back to the credit union. So the credit union, we can keep mining. And as we mine Bitcoin, we have a treasury. We have a treasury of digital capital that we can lend to businesses of all sorts. So what this does for us as a architecture, as a core thesis, is that the businesses repay the loans irrespective of the short-term Bitcoin swings. So the model itself becomes more resilient. It's anti-fragile. It's more scalable because we have harnessed the power, the energy of Bitcoin, and we have diversified it into multiple different streams of cash flow, investing into different kinds of businesses, and especially businesses that continue to enhance and augment the Bitcoin ecosystem. So mining was step one, treasury is step two, and digital credit is step three. And with these three things in place, Bitcoin becomes a national operating system for El Salvador. Bitcoin becomes the operating system for private key capital. This is my thesis. Private key capital has an operating system, just like your Apple computer or Microsoft computer. It's called Bitcoin. It's a three-step process. We're going to mine, we're going to build treasury, and we're going to create digital credit. And when we show this model working, we will be invaluable in this world because no one's built it yet. I certainly can't rely on the big fat cat banks to do innovation. It takes them years, decades, centuries to change. They are not known for speed nor agility. On the other side, we have these traditional oil companies that are not going to change their business model anytime soon. But here's what we can do. We can take that energy, we can mine with it, we can create a treasury, and we can diversify our capital into 1,000 different cash flow streams. Now we are building an architecture, a palace, a structure that becomes far more resilient to volatility, Bitcoin volatility. This is what I've been thinking about for the last year, because always, every time I had conversation, the ding was, hey, Bitcoin is volatile. It goes up, it goes down, and that has always been the argument on the other side. And so I've meditated and I've prayed and I've tried to think about what solves the volatility problem. And I'm convinced at this point, after a year's meditation and thinking and writing and discussing, that digital credit is the solution to the volatility. Billions of dollars in digital credit, billions of different cash flow streams is the solution to digital credit. So El Salvador is going to allow us to test this. It's allowing us to test this. It's allowing us to bring people. It's allowing us to have these conversations. I go to dinners every night when I'm here, meeting entrepreneurs, meeting investors, meeting expats from all around the world, from Australia, from Europe, from Canada, who have come here to El Salvador because they believe. And during our dinner conversations, our coffee breaks, conversations are like this about ideas, just like I used to have when I was in Silicon Valley, when every little bar and restaurant, every table was full of entrepreneurs talking about how they're going to build the future. I miss that. But when I come here to San Salvador, I feel that. When I go to Bitcoin Beach, I feel that. People are excited about the future. I want you to get excited about that future. El Salvador is attracting a new kind of traveler, the Bitcoin pilgrim. They're coming to this one place on earth where you literally feel the future in real time. They're coming here for safety. They're coming here for the beauty of this place, their lakes and their volcanoes. And I've driven. I'm a local now, so I drive my own car all over the place whenever I want. I've driven hours and hours, yes, through crazy traffic, but heck, I learned how to drive in New York City. So any place on planet Earth is okay for me. I can honk and give the bird just like as well as the next guy. So I'm good. This place, El Salvador, has hospitality. People are kind. People are genuine. You're not talking to a robot. You have human interactions. And of course, there are opportunities. There's opportunity in real estate. There's opportunity in tourism. There's opportunities in agriculture, in building a ranch, in building a farm, in growing cattle. We're doing a lot of that, by the way. We got 5 heifers and 2 bulls with the right kind of genetics from from Texas with our partnership with Texas Slim. And we are moving those over here. We got a 50-acre piece of land to, get some brown cows, which are the local varietal, and artificial inseminate them and create beef. Within a few years, El Salvador will have its own heritage beef supply. These are exciting things. This is what Bitcoin does. It changes the way you think. It gives you national courage to build new stuff. And some people who come here will stay here because they love it so much. There's nothing like buying that first coconut right on the beach and you pay for it with sats. It's a small thing, but it hits you like a revelation right there. This is what happened to me. I like pupusas. These are these little sort of pancake-like things filled with cheese or beans or meat sometimes. It's just small things. I walk into this little store where I don't even speak the language yet. I got to learn Spanish. But, I say, can I have 2 of these pupusas? And she just flashes a little QR code and I pay with my Lightning wallet. $2.42 gets you a beautiful, beautiful lunch on the side of the road. It's a small thing, but it's a big thing. It's a big thing because it's money without permission. It's value without borders, and it's freedom without apology. That's what I love about this country. So as we build this resort, you will have that ceremonial gateway into that experience that I'm trying so desperately to get across to you. People will remember this day. They will remember the moment they stepped into this new world. And you'll be stepping in here not as observers, not as foreigners, but as participants. Participants for this Bitcoin economy. So here's what it means for us today, folks. Here's what it means for us. This resort that we have right now, I don't know the exact opening date. I know everybody wants to come. And I know you want to buy your tickets and book your first week. We're going to send out invitations for the first couple of weeks. Ben is going to be here full time for a while. We're going to get all kinds of wonderful people to come here. I will let you know. We have to still make some changes, do some painting, some cosmetic work that needs to be done. So please bear with us, but it's coming. This resort is no longer just a resort. It's a sovereign node which will drive an entire financial network. The credit union we have purchased and operating right now is not just a bank. It's a circulation system for digital credit, a new economic model. The mining equipment and rigs we have been buying for the last whole year. In 6 different sites we are mining. That becomes our sovereign mint. And all of you who are listening to me right now, you are not spectators. You are the builders. You are the participants. You are the early citizens of this new Bitcoin world that we are building in private key capital. You are the new citizens of private key capital. Hold that in your heart. And as you go about your day, doing the 1,000 different wonderful things that you do, keep this in mind. With this resort, with our treasury, with our credit union, we are creating a movement. Just like El Salvador is rebirthing itself, private key capital, private key resorts, private key credit union, private key clubs have chosen a rebirth, a rebrand. We have chosen sovereignty. We have chosen freedom. And together, as our wonderful hundreds and hundreds of club members, I want each one of you to participate in building this new architecture for a new civilization, for our kids, for the future. And when we prove it out here, we're going to bring it home. And we're going to build that in America, in every city and every state. there's going to be a private key capital beacon in one form or another. That's the vision. That's the hope. That's the dream. That's the passion. That's what I'm working for the next 10 years. That's freedom. That's what I told Ben. And I ask each one of you to participate. I love you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed what I have to say today. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to welcoming every one of you to our resort very soon. God bless you. God bless El Salvador. God bless America.
Tired of jumping through hoops to buy Bitcoin? Frustrated with endless paperwork and invasive identity checks? Introducing Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club's loan program. No KYC required. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to freedom. Borrow up to $250,000 at as little as 7% interest. Join our community and take control of your financial future. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where privacy meets opportunity. Connect with like-minded individuals and grow together. Visit us today and unlock your $250,000 Bitcoin loan. Your journey to financial freedom starts here.